is a huge compilation of what are, in my opinion, the best of the best card tricks that I have performed on all the card magic videos since the very start of this channel. That is right, this video took so long to make. It took hours and hours of just sat there watching back. I think it was over 40 videos of card magic videos that I have done on this channel. And if you want to go and check out the entire playlist of all the tricks and card magic videos, you can click the little link in the corner of the screen, or I'll pop it in the description down below. But tonight, you're going to see an entire compilation of all my favourite tricks and all the tricks that, in my opinion, have the highest chance of fooling you. So, since this video took so long to make, please do show your support by dropping a like on it if you do enjoy it. And if you're new around here and you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. In fact, according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of you guys watching this are subscribed. So if you love ASMR card magic or just want to show your support, then please do subscribe. And yeah, also apologies, I could not put timestamps on this video. The video was just too long and there were too many tricks for me to timestamp. But if you have any of your favorite tricks from the video that you do want to timestamp, let me know in the comments which tricks fooled you or which tricks you did enjoy. Now, enough with the rambling, let's get straight into my best card magic tricks. Okay, now one of the things I actually like about this trick is it's very impromptu. So you can literally borrow a deck of a spectator or anyone, or grab any old deck of cards and have it shuffled. It doesn't really matter. But we don't even need to use the entire deck for this trick. In fact, all we actually need are 3 red cards and 3 black cards, and the spectator can select these at random. So let's just say they go for these 3 red cards and these 3 black cards. It doesn't really matter as long as they're random. But it is, however, important that they do indeed pick an equal amount of red cards as there are black cards. So in this case, 3 red cards and 3 black cards, because what we are going to do is use the red cards to symbolize oil, and the black cards are going to symbolize water. Now the reason we do this is because I'm going to explain to you guys a little bit of science. Basically, when you take some oil and mix it with some water, the 2 liquids actually separate. So if we mix even more oil and water together, hopefully with this demonstration, the oil and water that have been mixed together should separate from each other. So let's see if they did as I explained. Indeed, the water has separated from the oil. But let's take this a step farther, shall we? Let's add a little bit more water and a little bit more oil to the mix, and hopefully we can get the same effect to happen with this mix now that we've got. So we'll use again the oil red and the water to be black, and we'll hope that if we mix them again, oil with water, that they will indeed, after all of this, separate again. So let's take a look and see how they have done. And again, the water has separated from the oil. yellow deck of playing cards. And before I jump into the trick, yes, I know I have just cut my hand, apologies about that, but the show must go on. So, for this trick we are going to need 4 very important cards, and those cards are the ace through 4 of hearts. Very important cards to me, and these cards are so important as they can perform something pretty incredible if they put their minds to it. So we have the 4, 3, 2 and ace, and they're going to try and in turn, one by one, turn over right in front of your eyes, and it will hopefully blow your mind. Let me show you what I mean. So we have, of course, the ace, 2, 3 and 4, and what we're going to do is try and perform this little bit of magic right here. You ready? And give it a wee twist, and as you will see, the ace of hearts is the first card to turn over. Pretty incredible. Let's try this one more time. We give it a wee spin and a and next up, the 2 of hearts has turned over. Let's try this for the 3 of hearts next. We give it a wee shake and a and as you can see now, the 3 of hearts has turned over, and last but not least, we have to, of course, make the 4 of hearts turn over. Let's see if we can do it. And as you can see, the 4 of hearts has indeed turned over. Pretty crazy, I know, but all we have to do is give them a wee shake and another, and as you can see, all 4 cards have turned back over. Not only that, but the backs of the cards have now all lost their colour and are now all black. Bicycle, playing cards, and let's make it even better. The entire deck is now a black deck of playing cards. We never even started with a yellow deck, apart from the box. And that is the Colorless card trick. Let me know in the comments if you know how it is done. Let's next move on to another card trick. So, let's perform a wee trick with this deck. Let's pop the box aside. So as you can see, we've mixed it all up very nicely. I'm going to mix it up furthermore, and we can have our spectator cut the deck. Now I'm going to make a few predictions, so I need to keep this secret for the now. Let me just make my predictions. So I have my first prediction there. My next prediction, which is this card, I'll pop right there. And my final prediction is going to be this card right there, and we'll get into them in just a wee second. Now what we need to do next is have our spectator cut the deck into roughly 3 equal piles. So what we'll do is say stop at roughly a third, which I'd say is about there, and then to create 2 more thirds. Hopefully this doesn't go sliding about. So as you can see, it's brand new, so we'll just cut this in half, like there and like there. Now you're probably wondering what my predictions are, so shall we take a look? So I predicted the 4 of hearts, the 10 of diamonds, and the Jack of spades. Quite random, I know, but what we're going to do is with the each pile, I'm going to start dealing down cards. And whenever our spectator felt like it, they could say stop right there, pop the rest of the pack on top, and we'd lose that card where they said stop. But they can say stop wherever they like, and we can start with whichever pile. So let's go with, for example, the middle pile first. Oh, by the way, we can give this a good mix up as well. So either way, they say stop wherever they want. Let's say they say stop there, pop the 10 in, and again, as I said, we can mix this pile up. Let's do this pile next. Let's say they say stop right there, and we'll finish with the 4 of hearts. Let's say where they say stop right there. This is completely random, I promise, and we'll pop all the cards in to where we pop them in. Now, to recap, I made 3 predictions. We made 3 roughly equal piles and lost these cards in completely random. And let's see where we said stop. So we put the Jack of Spades right there. In fact, what actually were my other predictions? We had the 4 of Hearts, didn't we? And we had the, oh yeah, the 10 of Diamonds. Get rid of this portion of the deck. Now, let's take a look at where we popped those cards in. Remember, it was a free choice, anywhere we wanted. But we happened to partner the Jack of Spades up with its partner, its soulmate, the Jack of Clubs, the 10 of Diamonds with its soulmate, the 10 of Hearts, and the 4 of Hearts with its soulmate, the 4 of Diamonds. So for this next trick, I'm going to begin by giving the deck several shuffles, giving it a good mix-up, ensuring no setup throughout the performance of this trick. We could even give it some cuts to making it nice and fair. In fact, fair is actually a good word to use as a theme for this trick. We're going to keep things nice and fair for this trick. And so, to continue that theme, I do need to make a prediction. And I'm going to do that with the deck face down. So, even I don't know what card I'm going to be predicting tonight. Let's go with this card, shall we? And I'll leave it face up there, so you can keep an eye on it. You can see there's no funny business going on. I'm not switching it out slyly right in front of your eyes, and we'll come back to it in a wee moment. Again, nice and fair. Now, usually when I have a card selected, I would have it done with the deck face down. But no. Tonight, we're making no mystery, no uncertainty. We're keeping it fair. And I'm going to spread the deck out. Face up so you can see that there is A, again, no setup, but B, that you could genuinely pick any one of these 51 cards now. So let's say you go with the 9 of Spades, for example. A very random card. But again, it was your choice. You went for the 9 of Spades. And it's actually a very magical card. A very powerful card that can do some pretty magical things. One of which being that it can disappear right in front of your eyes. Don't believe me? Watch very closely. Watch. Just like that. It is gone. No, really, look. There is no 9 of Spades in this deck. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, you did make a prediction. What's all that about? Well, we'll get to that in a wee moment. And again, I do want to stress that you could have picked any card you wanted. And I think you can see where this is going. My prediction was indeed the... Oh, it was the Joker. That was meant to be your card. Right. Well, in fact, I should be able to recover. Let's try and recover. This Joker is also very magical. You see, one of the things this Joker can do is not only vanish just like the 9, but it can actually morph into cards. Watch very closely. And just like that, the Joker has morphed into your 9 of spades. This next trick is an interactive card trick for you to play along with at home. So if you're watching this video whilst relaxing, then feel free to play along with this trick and let me know in the comments if it worked on you. But if you are listening to this whilst trying to sleep or relax, feel free to keep your eyes shut and just listen to the nice sounds and whispering. But for those of you playing along, I have a small packet of cards here, and I'm going to lay them out in a grid. I'll just make this a bit more visible. But there we go. Now we're going to play a slight game. Now the way this game works is I want you to get your finger and put it over the Joker in the top right here. So just hover your finger above here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count, and every time I say a number, what I want you to do is move your finger either down or up or left or right to the nearest card, but don't move diagonally. So if you are on this 2, you can move to here, here, or here, but not here or here. So let's start. Put your finger on the Joker and move 1. So you're either on this card or this card. Are you ready? We're gonna move some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I predict you are not on the King of Spades. Are you ready? We're gonna move some more. 1, 2, 3. And I predict you are not on the Ace of Clubs. We're gonna move more now. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I guess that you are not on the 2 of Hearts. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not on the 6 of Clubs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I guess you are not on the 8 of Clubs. You ready? 1, 2, 3. gets great reactions when I perform it, and it is probably one of the hardest tricks I know to perform. So, to begin the trick, I need to take out any two of a kind. Now it can literally be any two cards, but since I don't have a spectator here to call out any two of a kind, I'll just go through and grab out my favorite two of a kind, which are the two red aces. So we've got the ace of diamonds, and of course the ace of hearts. Now I'll pop them up to the side. We'll get back to them in just a wee second. So next up, we need a card selected by the spectator. So again, I'll go through and just pull out a random one. Let's say this one. I didn't have a spectator here with me, so I just pulled out any free random card from the middle. It just so happens to be the 6 of spades. And we'll set that 6 in between those two red aces that we just pulled out. So next up, we need another 2 of a kind. And since I've already taken out my favourite ones, I'll just pick a random one. Let's say the 2 black kings, I don't know. So we've got the king of spades. And where's the other one? The other one, there we go. Perfect. So, of course we could have picked any 2 of a kind. I just happened to go for the king of spades and the king of clubs. Now the aim with these 2 cards that I've just pulled out, the king of clubs and the king of spades, is to get your 6 of spades and to transfer it in between these 2 cards. So to do that, I'm going to make sure there is absolutely no way I can get to these 2 kings, and I'll do that by popping them inside the card box. Like so. Now usually what I would do is have the spectator hold on to the card box while I try and transfer the 6 of spades to the kings that are in the box. But since I don't have anyone here with me, what I will do is I will just what will we do? We'll just pop the box like over there or something like that, and we'll try and do it with just the cards and the card box. I'm not too sure how I'll do this because I usually have them place their hand on top. We'll use my own hand, I'll tell you what. You ready? Okay, I think it may have worked. Let's take a look. I think it worked. The 6 of spades is now gone from in between the 2 red aces. Let's take a look inside the box then. And the spectator can freely examine this. There is a card in between the 2 black kings, and it is the 6 of spades. To finish off the video, guys, I'm going to be performing a really awesome and complex card sandwich routine. This will not be the first time I've done a sandwich routine on my channel. I've done one before, but it was a very beginner one. This is an advanced card sandwich routine, and I'm going to be doing it with the help of my pink deck of bicycle playing cards. And I've also gone through and taken out 2 red special cards. So red and pink, they're different. So we'll pop them over there and we'll get to what they are in just a sec. What we do need is a random card selected. Let's say it is the 8 of spades, and we're going to lose the 8 of spades somewhere in the deck. Let's go about there. Looks good. special because they are the 2 red 7s. And these 2 red 7s, which, by the way, are red. So, red 7, red back. It's a good way to remember it. They're going to help us find your card. So we've got the 7 of diamonds and of course the 7 of hearts, and we're going to set them just over there, and they're going to help us find your card. And the way we're going to do it, so we're going to cut the deck somewhere about the middle. We'll take the 7s, the first red one, pop it there face down, and the second red 7, and pop it there. As you can see, nothing in between them. I'll pop the rest of the deck on top, and we'll see if they can do their magic to find your card. Are you ready? And if we turn the deck over and spread it out, you can see there is one card sandwiched in between the 2 red 7s. And that one card happens to be your 8 of spades. Pretty crazy, I know. The red 7s indeed managed to find your card, but that was pretty impressive. But we can do this again and take it one step further. To do that, I'll lose your card somewhere in the middle again. Give it a good cut as well. And this time, you know what, this time we'll do it face up. What I mean by that is we will take the deck, we'll cut it, we'll take the first 7, put it face up like so. The second 7, put that face up like so. And dump the rest of the deck on top. That way, if we turn the deck over and spread through, when we find the face down red 7s, hopefully they will have found your card. Let's take a look. If we spread through, you can see when we get to the 7 that there is a card right next to it. We got the first red 7, your card, and the last red 7. And the card it found was your 8 of spades. Pretty crazy, I know. But actually we're going to try this one last time just to blow your guys' minds even more. I know. And we're going to take your card, lose it in the deck as we did before. Give it a good cut. And this time with these 7s is we're going to put them in a way like so. We're going to pop them in face down, nothing between them, and we're going to make this slightly harder for these guys. And the way we're going to do that is we're actually going to split them up by quite a lot. You can see there's so many cards in between them now. But as we did before, all we have to do is push them in, snap my fingers, and as you can see, the 2 red 7s yet again have come straight together to find one final card, well, one final time. And that one card happens to be your 8 of spades. And I want to start by talking about deception. For example, if I take this top card and ask you, what is it? A lot of you are going to say, of course, it's the 5 of spades. But if you look closely, it's actually the 10 of clubs. For the penultimate trick in this video, as you can see, I have a lot of props on my screen right now. I am going to show you a really cool trick using these die and this deck of bicycle ghost playing cards, and I decided to use these cards for this trick as I think they look pretty good on the black background that we have got. Now we'll come to these props in just a second. I've got myself some paper. I'm going to make a bit of a prediction in a wee second, but before we do that, I would usually hand the deck to the spectator and have them shuffle it. And it is a completely free shuffle that they can do. The deck will be completely random. They can shuffle it as many times as they want, do whatever shuffles they wish. As long as they are happy that they have mixed up the deck entirely, they can give it some cuts. There is no setup required. When they are completely happy with the order of the deck, they can turn it over. They can even examine the cards, whatever they want, as long as they are happy that it is completely random. Then we can continue with the trick. Now at this point they'd hand me the deck back and I'd say, okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I am going to make a prediction with this sheet of paper over here. So I'm going to take the lid of this pen and I'm going to write down a card that I think we are going to be needing to know for this trick, and we'll come back to my prediction at the end of the trick. So let's take the lid off the pen. And I'll make my prediction now, so I'll just be 2 seconds while I write it. Okay, awesome, I've made my prediction. Pop the lid back on the pen, and I'm just gonna fold up my prediction now. Just so we can come back to that at the end. And we'll have no idea what that prediction is, so I'll set it up there. And I'll pop the pen just to the side of it so we can definitely not tamper with it. And you guys can see it in plain sight for the whole trick. See that I won't be touching it whatsoever. Now in comes the die for the trick. I've got 2 die here. They are not loaded, these die. They're not set to roll onto a specific number on each die. They are completely random and free die. They're not biased. And what I would do is I would hand the die to the spectator and have them roll it until they are happy with the numbers that they have rolled to. So they can take the die and they can roll it a couple times. Let's say double sixes. Let's say they're not happy with that. They can keep going until they're satisfied they've got a random selection. So let's just go one more time. Perfect, a 5 and a 3. Now what I would say to the spectator is we're going to do some math with the numbers you've rolled to. So to help us keep track of what we're doing, I've got a scrap bit of paper. We're going to be writing some numbers on this. So I would say to them that what I would need them to do is to add up the 2 numbers that they have rolled to and write that on the top of the sheet of paper. So in our case we've got 5 and 3. That gives us 8. Perfect. And we need to remember that number because we're going to come back to it in a sec. Now I would say to them to choose one of the 2 die. It can be either one. And I just want them to flip it upside down to the number that is, or the side that is completely opposite that side, and they can pick either die. Let's say they go for this 5 and they flip it upside down. We've got a 2 on the other side. Nice. And I would say to them to add this new number to your current number. So we have 8 plus 2 gives us 10. Nice. And then we're going to use the die one final time. I would have them pick up the one that they just flipped over and roll it one last time. And with that number that they have rolled to add that to the number that we are now on. So we've got 10 plus 4 gives us 14. And that is going to be our final number for the trick. Now this number is very important because we are going to use this 14. What do we have? We had a 4, sorry. We're going to use this 14 and we're going to count down 14 cards. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 8, 9. Is that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And we can get rid of the deck. And we'll get rid of this. We'll just set it up there. And with the numbers that we are left with on the die, we're going to add them together. We've got 4 and 3 gives us 7. And we're going to count down 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 7th card is the Jack of Spades. Now, if you'll remember, I made a prediction slightly earlier on. Let's go back to this prediction and take a look at what it was, and you'll find that it is indeed the Jack of Spades. So for this trick, I will be needing a complete standard deck of playing cards that comes with all 52 different playing cards. I will not be needing the 2 jokers, so I'll set them aside. In fact, this trick is all about the 2 different colours in a deck of cards. Of course, we have the red cards, and we also have the black cards. For those who do not know, the red cards make up the hearts and the diamonds of a deck of cards, and the black cards make up the clubs and the spades, respectively. So as I said, we need both colours to be separated for this trick, and reason being is we are going to put these packets into their 2 piles, like so, the red pile and the black pile, and we're going to give each pile a bit of a confusing shuffle, and I'll start with the black cards to show you what I mean. In fact, the way we're doing this shuffle is I'm going to split the packet in roughly a half, and we're going to shuffle face down into face up cards, which will create, as you would assume, a bit of a mess. Allow me to do so. Like so. And I will push these cards together. And we'll give it one more. Again, face down into face up. Like so. And let's move on. I'll pop them over there. Let's move on to the red cards. Again, I'll split them in roughly half, and we'll shuffle face down into face up. Like so. And I'll complete the shuffle, and we'll do it one more time. Like so. Now the last step for these 2 packets of cards is I'm going to take the top card of each pile. In the black card's case, it is the 5 of clubs, and I'm going to deal it to the bottom. In the red pile case, it is the 3 of hearts, which will be dealt to the bottom. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you about this trick is it's a bit of a time traveling trick. You'll see, when I snap my fingers, the trick actually goes back in time 15 seconds. Watch. We just went back in time 15 seconds, and I'll prove it to you. Remember that 3 of hearts that was on the top? Well, it's now back on top of the red cards. also jumped back up to the top. In fact, let's go back another 15 seconds. And as you'll see, all the cards are now facing the same way from this packet. Another 15. And all the cards are back facing the same way from this packet. Both packets are now facing the same way. And if I go back 15, 30, 45 and 1 whole minute, right back to the start of the trick, you will see all we are left with is a completely shuffled deck of cards. So let's jump into this very last trick, which is one of my favorites. As you can see, I have gone through and taken out some very important cards from the deck. We have taken out the 4 aces. We've got the ace of clubs, the ace of hearts, the ace of spades, the ace of diamonds, and I have also gone through and taken out all the royalty cards of each suit. So we have the king of clubs, queen of clubs, jack of clubs, got the king of hearts, the queen of hearts, the jack of hearts, we have the king of spades, the queen of spades, the jack of spades, and last but not least, the king of diamonds, queen of diamonds, and the jack of diamonds. And what we are going to be doing is creating some piles with these cards, and we're going to make them with according to the 4 aces. So of course we have the 4 aces, clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. And a good way to remember these 4 aces is think of them as being in chased order. Now I know you're probably wondering, what is chased order? Well, chased order is indeed going clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. And if you put those letters together, the first letters you have C, H, S, D, you've got CHSD. If you chuck in a couple vowels, you get the word chased. So we have our aces arranged in chased order. And what we are going to be doing next is placing the according suits of royalty cards on top of each pile. So of course we have the clubs, so we have the king, queen, and jack of clubs that we showed you back at the start. Next up, of course, we have the hearts. So we got the jack of hearts, the queen of hearts, and of course the king of hearts, which will pop down there. So those cards are going pretty well. Of course we have the spades next. We've got the king, queen, and jack of spades, and last but not least we have our hearts, the king, queen, hearts, spades, diamonds. I probably got them a wee bit mixed up. You can see it's hard to keep track of everything. Hopefully you guys all kept track, but we have club, hearts, spades, and of course the king, queen, and jack of diamonds. So every card is now in their respective pile. This is where we perform the magic of the trick. This takes a little bit of practice, years of practice actually. This is one of the things that I like to do to make myself feel like a magician. Are you ready? There we go. And hopefully, if this has worked to plan, we now have all the aces in the same pile. We have all the kings in the same pile. All the queens have also jumped together, and last but not least, all the jacks have jumped together. You should never trust a magician, and here's why. We're going to play a game. I have with me 3 playing cards. On the top is the king of diamonds. The second ace of spades. And the aim of the game for you is to keep your eye on the ace of spades. So if I was to move it to the bottom of the packet and say to you, where is the ace of spades? You would say on the bottom. Well, you'd be wrong. That would be the king of diamonds. So where else is the ace of spades? On the top, okay. Let's see if you were right. No, that is also the king of diamonds. What? You want to check the middle as well? Okay. Well, you'd be wrong again. That is also the king of diamonds. We'll start this again. On the bottom is the ace of spades, okay? Where is the king of diamonds? On the top. Well, let's take a look. You had a 1 in 3 chance. And again, you're wrong. It's the ace of spades. You want to check the middle again, okay, sure, but that's also the ace of spades. I know you probably think I'm cheating, and this is why you probably shouldn't trust me, but we really are just playing with 1, 2, 3, king of diamonds. But, as I said, you should never trust a magician, as we are actually playing with a king of diamonds, an ace of spades, and a joker. So first up, guys, I want to talk to you about randomness. Now, randomness is very important when it comes to performing magic tricks and handling playing cards in general. And randomness can come from many ways. It can come from cutting decks, and it can come from giving decks shuffles. Like so. Either way, when you shuffle the deck, it will normally give you an order that has never been shuffled before. Now, to show to you how randomness can sometimes have slight constraints to them in methods that aren't necessarily 100% random, I'm going to demonstrate that with, not by using the entire deck, but I'll just take out one of the suits. So I'll just go with spades. So I'm taking them out, and they are in a random order. I just shuffled it, but we'll take them all out. Any more? No, that's all of them. So I want to show you ways in which I have seen people in the past use as shuffling decks. And being a math student, I know that these methods aren't necessarily the best way to shuffle packets of cards. So one way I've seen in the past is people doing overhand shuffles. That's the one where you deal cards off the top, like so. But some people don't do them necessarily the greatest ways. They don't do large enough packets of cards, and it's generally, in my opinion, not one of the best methods of shuffling cards. One that my brother does, and he's quite young, so I've seen quite a few children do this in the past, is just dealing off packets of cards. And as that works a wee bit better, it does still shuffle the card, but it is not completely random. One of my favourite ways of shuffling it and making it slightly random is by getting cards and doing a pharaoh shuffle, which is the one where you put them in between each other like that. And that is a very good method. However, the complete opposite of a pharaoh shuffle would be taking out every indifferent card. And this, as I was about to say, taking out every indifferent card is not a very good way. It is kind of like a reverse shuffle. And it's not a great shuffle. And the final shuffle that I have seen some people perform, which is generally ridiculous, is known as the cards is indeed to actually muddle them about on the floor. And that is the most random shuffle, as I can show you guys. Not everything is random though. And all the shuffles I have just performed are not random. So good luck to everyone that enters. For this first trick in today's video, I'm going to be performing a really cool, complex card trick. It's quite difficult to perform. I learned it quite recently. I actually saw a comment on one of my videos saying that they appreciate the fact that I'm always continuously learning new card tricks, and honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do. So thank you all for the appreciation. For this trick, we are going to actually need to pick out 3 random cards, and since I don't have a spectator here, we'll just pick out 3. We'll go 1 near the top. We'll go for 1 near the bottom of the packet, about there, and we'll go for 1 just about the middle, right there. Just get a good variety of cards, really, for the trick. And let's go ahead and take a look at this first card that we've picked out. It's the Ace of Spades. Pretty cool. It's actually one of my favorite cards, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 3 cards of the deck to try and perform something pretty cool with this ace. You see, if we take the ace and place it on top of these cards and give them a wee tap, the Ace of Spades has actually turned the 3 cards that we have taken out from the top into the 1, 2, 3, and obviously the 4th ace. Pretty cool. As you can see, the 4 aces. And what we're going to do is we no longer need this Ace of Spades, so we'll pop him back on top of the packet, and we're going to work with the next card and the 3 cards that I took out. So the next card is the Jack of Spades. I really do like the Jacks. Let's try to do the same thing with the Jacks. We'll give them a wee tap. And as you can see, the 3 cards that we picked out have also turned into the 1, 2, 3, and 4 Jacks. Again, pretty cool, as you can see. And we're going to try this one last time. We'll take the Jack. We no longer need it. We'll lose it back on the deck, and we'll work with our final card. You know what? It wouldn't be a good card trick if I didn't perform some sort of mentalism. And I am pretty sure I can work out what this card is. And I can do this. As you can see, I actually now have 4 cards. And these 4 cards are going to help me work out what that card is. In fact, they don't even need to. I already know what this last card is. I already know that it is the 10 of clubs. I know you're probably thinking, well, how do you know that? Well, firstly, I'm not wrong, am I? And I know this because the other cards we have are the Jack, the Queen, King, and Ace of Clubs, giving us a complete royal flush. Now let me get into it. So I'm going to be using my black Riderback deck of bicycle playing cards for this trick. It is indeed one of my favorite decks. We're going to be using it to perform this very difficult trick. Now what we need to do is actually take out 4 cards from this deck, and they can be any 4 cards. I think just to make things nice, let's go for a 4 of a kind. Should we go for the 4 aces? Why not? Let's go for the 4 aces. Got the Ace of Spades, the Ace of Hearts, the Ace of Clubs, and of course the Ace of Diamonds. The 4 aces. And we're going to try something pretty cool with these 4 aces. aces, but we'll get into that in just a second. What we actually need to do next is pick a card from the deck, and this can be any card. If I had a spectator with me, they would pick it and I wouldn't look at it, but since I don't, we'll just take this card here. Say it was the 4 of spades, and what we're going to do with the 4 of spades is just lose it somewhere in the middle of the deck. And to do that, I think I'll just pop it somewhere like there, and then we'll lose that in the middle of that packet, and then give that packet a good shuffle, just so everything is gone and lost in the deck. Now, this is where our 4 aces are going to come into play. We are going to try and make these aces disappear one by one. That is right, they're going to vanish right in front of your eyes. And we're going to start with the ace of diamonds. So we'll take the ace of diamonds. And for this one, all we have to do is give it a 1, 2, 3. And the ace of diamonds has vanished from the deck. Pretty crazy, right? So next up we have the ace of clubs. We're going to try and make that one vanish next, and let's do it quite similar to the last one. Let's take the ace of clubs and we'll just try and give it a wee rub, and hopefully you can see the ace of clubs has vanished right in front of your eyes. Next up is the ace of hearts. This one is pretty crazy when it vanishes. Are you ready? Watch very closely, as if you blink, you'll miss it. And as you can see, the ace of hearts has also vanished. And last but not least, the hardest one, the ace of spades. We are going to try and make that vanish next. So we'll take the ace of spades, pop it on top, and watch very, very closely. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Did you see that? Let me know in the comments if you know how any of those vanishes are done. But I hope you all... Wait, what's that? Oh, your card. Oh, I completely forgot about your card. Well, as you can see, the 4 aces have ended up in the middle of the deck. There is one card sandwiched in between the 4 aces that we made vanished. Shall we take a look at that card? Let's see, was it your 4 of spades? Leave a like if you guys enjoyed that trick. Love is the connection between one another in the perfect pair for each other that make each other happy, smile, and live their life the fullest with the perfect person for them. However, love can sometimes be quite hard to find. We'll find ourselves in situations where we don't necessarily end up with the right person, and we need to search to find that perfect person. We go through ups and downs throughout life. We find ourselves liking certain people that may not necessarily be the right ones for us, and it's all about finding that right person. But in this story of love that I'm going to be telling you, there are 2 very important love enthusiasts, and they are the 2 jokers. And these jokers actually developed a special potion that allowed people to pay for, and it would help them find their perfect soulmate to make them the perfect couple. So as you can see, we have a couple of pairs here, a few pairs I should say, that aren't perfect matches. We have another one here, not the perfect match. I'll set them face down actually. We have another pair here which are not the perfect match, and the last pair here, which do not match again. Now our two jokers worked long and hard at trying to make this perfect potion, and at each turn people could go into their factory. They would be greeted by the joker at the front of the factory, who would say, "Hey, give me your money," and they would give him the money, and the second joker would allow them to take the potion away with them. Another pair went in. Again, they were greeted by the first joker at the factory, who said, "Give me your money." They would give them the money, and the final joker gave them the potion, and they went on their way. The third couple went into the factory. The joker said, "Hey, give me your money," and the second joker gave them the potion and sent them on their way. And the final pair that did not match went into the factory. They gave them, well, they asked for the money, which they gave them, and then the last joker gave them the potion and sent them on their way. Now these jokers knew that their potion worked very, very well. And let's see if it did. As you can see, the first pair that went in together came out, and they were a perfect pair. The second couple went in, and the potion seemed to work very effectively. Let's see if our third pair had success, and they did. They got their perfect soulmate. And the fourth couple, indeed, the potion worked very successfully. And that is a very nice fairy tale or story about love. So, for this next trick, I am gonna have you guys play a little game with me. We're gonna try and get a match of 2 cards, and we're gonna do that by me dealing 3 piles. And when you guys feel like it, just call it stop whenever you like. So I'll do it for you. And wherever you say stop, we're gonna turn over the top 3 cards and hopefully get a match in value. Stop right there. Okay, let's take a look. A jack. A 9. We need a jack or a 9. A 6. So not very good. But I'll give you one last chance. A jack, a 9, or a 6. I'm gonna deal down cards. And let's see if we can get one. Say stop whenever you want. Stop there. Okay. A jack, a 9, or a 6. We got a jack. Well done. So you managed to get a match. That was incredible. Let's go through and review. So, I'm very impressed because you managed to pull out the jack as the first one. What was the second one again? The 9. I'm going to take the cards on top of them. And the 6. Very good. And you also pulled out, as the victory card, the last jack. There. So that was very good. But not only did you manage to get a match with the 2 jacks, but you also managed to pull out the 4 kings. But speaking of matches, you also managed to match the king of diamonds with its match, the queen of diamonds, the king of clubs with the queen of clubs, the king of hearts with the queen of hearts, and every king needs his queen, the king of spades with the queen of spades. you see, the reason I love the aces is, well, for starters, the cards look very, very nice. They're so unique, and each of them are very, very special. And in fact, I can perform some pretty amazing things with these aces, and I'm going to try something today that I have actually never ever tried with these 4 aces. And essentially what I'm going to try and do is take the aces one at a time, shake the aces back and forth like so, and attempt to flip them over like so. So from that side there over to this side here. So let's see if we can give this a go. So let's take these aces and give them a little shake. And as you can see, just with a little shake, one of the aces, the ace of hearts, has indeed flipped over. And I'll turn it back over again so you can see once again, all 4 aces are face down. Let's try this again with, let's go for the ace of clubs. Let's give the packet a shake. And hopefully, well, if my magic worked correct, we can see that now the ace of clubs has flipped over. So that's 2 aces now. Let's move on to the 3rd ace. Let's do the ace of diamonds next. Ace of diamonds. Give it a shake. And as you can see, the ace of diamonds has now also revealed itself by flipping over. Pretty cool. However, the last ace, which is the ace of spades, which is my favourite ace, is actually the hardest ace to get to turn over. You see, we need to give it a bit of a longer shake. And as you can see, just with a little bit of a longer shake, the ace of spades has now revealed itself to us, and the ace of spades has got to be my favourite ace out of all 4 of the aces. However, going back to what I said about why I like these 4 aces, is because I have been practicing this shake routine for such a long time that I have gotten to know the aces very well. And in fact, let's pretend I never even took them out the deck. I can take any deck of cards with aces in them and give the entire deck a shake. And no matter what, the aces will always flip themselves over, just like so. I've got a bit of a special start to this video. As you can see, I've just moved over here because I have a special guest with me to help perform the very first trick of this video. It's a 2-person card trick, and it's going to be some tips for you guys as well, because this trick, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you how to do some cuts and shuffles. As you can see, with practice as a magician, I can do some really nice fancy cuts and shuffles, but I'm going to teach you at home and this helper with me today how to get very good at it. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is just split the deck in half, and in fact, pick a half. You can pick whatever half you want. You want to go for that one? Yeah, sure. So I'm going to teach you some things. Let's start with one of my favorite shuffles. If you spread out the deck, this one here is a very basic shuffle. Just take a portion of cards from the middle, just like 5 or 6 cards, yeah, and move them to the bottom. This is known as the elevator shuffle. Simply, it's pretty self-explanatory. All you're doing is moving That's kind of how it's known as the elevator shuffle. We can do some cuts. We can cut a few packets of cards, just like so. Yeah, very good. Then go back to this one and just do the same. What else can we do? We can deal cards down. That always gets a good reaction on video. Yeah, just deal one or two more down, whatever. We can do overhand shuffles. We can you do the riffle shuffle? Oh, I'm dropping the cards out here. Yeah, very good. Oh, you're doing a much better job than me. There we go. And we've got the Hindu shuffle. That's a fun one to do. And can you do the Pharaoh shuffle? I know it's a small packet of cards, but there we go. Just did the Pharaoh shuffle. It's very fun to do. There you go, nice. And so yeah, you can deal more packets. You can cut cards like so. Just literally just dump the rest of the cards on top. Go for it. So let's practice our dealing. Let's deal 4 whales. Yeah, like that. That's perfect. And yeah, you can deal. See, you can deal pretty fast. You can deal 1 or 2 cards. You can deal a couple. There you go. And then we can just go back from left to right. Dealing cards like so. Now, as I was saying, as a magician, I have a tendency to be a little more fancy and elaborate with my tricks and sleight of hand, things that I can do. One of the things in particular is I can deal to certain cards. So just there, I managed to deal to the 4 kings. Now let's see if I taught you well enough. How did you do? And there you go. You have dealt to the 4 aces and the 4 kings, guys. Let me know if this worked on you at home, if you tried along with it. So sadly, guys, all good things must come to an end. So this is the last trick of today's video. But if you have enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more Magic Mondays every single Monday. So for this trick, as you can see, I've gone through and I have taken out the 4 aces and the 4 kings, and the reason we have done this is we're going to try something pretty crazy with them. So we have, of course, the ace of diamonds, the ace of hearts, the ace of clubs, and the leader ace, which is the ace of spades. And then we have the king of diamonds, the king of hearts, the king of clubs, and the king leader, which is the king of spades. And we're going to set them there, the king of spades with the kings underneath, and the aces with the ace of spades underneath them. Now, what we're going to try and do is something pretty crazy with these cards that we've taken out. So I'm just going to give the deck a bit of a shuffle, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the king and the ace, and we're going to switch their places. And the reason we do that is we're going to take the leader king, the king of spades, and wave it over these 3 cards. And as you can see, these 3 cards have now turned into the 4 kings, or 3 kings, joining the leader king, the king of spades. And let's try the same with the aces. We'll take the aces, the ace of spades, and give it a wee wave. And now, in fact, you know what? That would be too easy. Let's make this slightly harder. I'll have you pick a random card. So say stop where you want. Right there. Perfect. And we'll deal out 3 cards. And turn over the card that's on the bottom. The 2 of hearts. And let's do the same. Let's take the ace and the 2 and switch positions. And hopefully the ace, being the leader ace, has done its duties, and the 3 other cards have followed the spade. And hopefully these 3 cards are now the 3 and 4 aces, and cards, and it's 3 other twos. To start with, I want to show you an effect that is so crazy. Some may say that it is near impossible, and it will definitely make you question if what you are about to see is actually happening. So, for this effect, I have 2 playing cards. We have a red and a blue card. The red card is the 8 of hearts, and we have a blue-backed queen of clubs. These can be any card, but these are the 2 that I have picked to perform this effect. And what we are going to do is simply fold these cards in half, like so. The queen of clubs is going to get folded lengthways. Just put a nice crease in that. And the 8 of hearts will fold. We'll fold this the opposite way, just to change things up a wee bit. Like so. And what we're going to do is take the 8 of hearts and we're going to place it in between the queen, like so, and I'll leave it hanging out the end a wee bit for you to see there. Now, these cards could have been folded any way around. We could have folded them this way around with this orientation upwards. It doesn't really make a difference. But here's what the cool effect is. This 8 of hearts acts as a bit of a converter. What I mean is if we take this queen and we push it through the converter, you can actually see as it comes out the other end, it flips over like so. And I can do this slowly for you to see it happening right in front of your eyes. Pretty crazy, right? We can flip it over as well. This works on both sides. In fact, you can actually see the queen is folded there, and as it comes out the other end, it has indeed flipped over. We can get it halfway through, and you can still see that the queen is definitely flipping over as it goes through the converter. Pretty crazy. So let me show you how it works. So we have the 4 aces, my 4 favorite cards in the deck, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick 2 random aces, let's say the 2 red aces, and we're going to sandwich the ace of clubs in between the 2 red aces like so, and I'm actually going to pop it face down on top of the deck like so, as you can see. Now we do need to lose these cards in the middle of the deck, so we'll give it a few cuts like so, just so they're completely lost in the deck. And we're now going to take the ace of spades, another really cool card, and we're just going to set that on the bottom like so, as you can see. Now with this ace of spades, we're going to lose it in the deck as well, like that. And let's just quickly recap. So we put the ace of clubs in between the 2 red aces, lost it in the deck, and then we lost the ace of spades, as well. Now, if we spread the deck out, you should see there are 2 cards in between the 2 red aces. Well, there's 1 card in between the 2 red aces, and that card was the ace of clubs, if we remember correctly. But let's take a look. What is that card that is now in between the 2 red aces? It's now the ace of spades. Pretty nuts, right? And if I take that ace of spades, give it a wee flick, it turns into the ace of clubs. A pretty cool effect. But let's get into the last trick of today's video. Now, for this trick, I'm going to be using another black deck. This is my black rider back deck of bicycle playing cards. A pretty rare deck now, so let's open this up. Okay, and we'll give it a good shuffle to start with. Perfect. Now, I need a few predictions for this trick, so I'm going to go through to myself. I don't want to show you the cards I'm predicting, and I'm going to make a few predictions. Just bear with me. And then I'll make that my last prediction, okay? Perfect. 3 predictions. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to set them under the card box. Just like so. We'll get back to them in a wee moment. Now, next up, I need you to select 2 cards for me. So, we'll mix up the deck. And we'll take these selections now. We'll go through and just say stop wherever you want. Right there, good choice. Prediction number 1. Say stop again. Stop right there. Another good choice. We'll pop that card down there. Now, let's take a look at my predictions. So, I get my predictions under here. And let's take a look at the first card that you selected. It was the Jack of Spades. Now, if I give my predictions a wee shake, as you can see, my 3 predictions were the 1, 2, and 3 other jacks. Your card was, of course, the Jack of Spades. Pretty nuts, right? We're going to take my 1, 2, 3 predictions, pop your Jack of Spades back on top of the deck, and let's take a look at what your other card was. It was the 4 of Hearts. Now, it's pretty weird that you picked the 4 of Hearts, because if I take my 3 jacks that I predicted, give them a wave over the 4 of Hearts, say some magic words, 4, and as you can see, my 3 jacks have turned. So guys, for the last trick in this video, I'm going to be performing a bit of an advanced trick that I have been loving lately. I've been performing this one on all my friends and family, and I learned this trick actually because a lot of people in the comments seem to want to see some more advanced tricks. Well, to that effect, a lot of people seem to be working out how these tricks are done, and I want to try and end the video on a high for me and blow your minds with this trick here. So hopefully this trick will fool all of you. Let me know in the comments if it does, and let's hope we can end this video with a nice, relaxing, advanced trick. So for this trick, I'm going to be using my Bicycle Stargazer Sunspot deck, and well, there's no setup whatsoever. The spectator could shuffle these cards if they would like. So I'm just going to show you they're getting a complete mix there. As you can see, nothing funny going on. As I said, I could hand it to them, have them mix it up as much as they like until they are happy, and we need them to pick a card. And again, I would like this to be very, very fair, so I'm going to spread out the deck and have them pick a card face up. So let's say they go through, and let's just say, for example, they pick out the 4 of clubs. And again, this is a completely free choice, but we're just going to go with the 4 of clubs in my case. Now, they could have picked any card, but we happen to pick the 4, and the 4 of clubs is actually a very special card, and that is because what we're going to do is we're going to take out the other 3 4s from the deck of cards. So let's go through and take them. We've got the 4 of spades, we have the 4 of diamonds, and the 4 of hearts should be somewhere. 4 of hearts, there we go. Just like so. And we're going to take your 4 of clubs and set it in the middle of all these other 4s, and we'll just pop them up there. Now, I know what some of you are probably wondering. What is this card that's under the card box? Well, let's go and take a look, shall we? As you can see, under the card box, I have one of my favorite cards from not just any deck, but from this deck in particular. I have one of the Jokers, and the thing about the Jokers is they always seem to get neglected when performing card tricks. They always get ignored, and I feel quite bad for them, but not today. This Joker is going to play a bit of an important role. And the way this Joker is going to play an important role show you how this works. I know you're probably thinking, that's ridiculous, my card is over here in between the other 3 4s, and you would be right. Well, so you would think you would be. Watch very closely. You ready? I give my hand a wave above these 4s, and as you can see, your 4 vanishes from in between the other 3 4s. That is right. What was your 4 again? The 4 of clubs. Well, you can see all other 4s here. No 4 of clubs to be seen. In fact, what did we say we were going to do? Oh yeah, that joker over there was going to turn to your card, wasn't it? Well, let's take a wee look. As you can see, the joker turned into your 4 of clubs. So for this trick, I will be needing the help of the 4 queens. So let's go through. We've got the queen of spades, the queen of clubs. We have the queen of hearts and the queen of diamonds, coincidentally, right next to each other. I think I'll give it a bit of a better mix up then. Maybe that was just a coincidence, but I guess maybe not, as these queens are very, very special. We have the 2 red queens and the 2 black queens, and it's important that we take these queens and set them up here because they're going to try and do something pretty crazy today, and that is why I chose the queens for this. So, I do need to make a prediction, so I'm going to quickly just make a prediction. I'm going to go with this card and we'll get back to that in a wee moment. I know it all seems a bit random so far, but as well as me selecting a card, I need you to select a card, and it can be any card. Let's just say we go with this card right here. Now I don't want to see it, so I'm going to show you guys it, and I'm going to look away, so please remember this card. Okay, now we're going to take your card and set it about here in the middle, right there, and I'll lose it with a riffle shuffle, and we'll go for a nice overhand shuffle as well, like so. Now, back to my 4 queens that I was telling you about. So the reason these queens are very, very special is they like to have a bit of a race sometimes. And what I mean by this is, well, essentially as it sounds, the black queens compete against the red queens to try and find chosen cards. And the way this works is we take, say, let's go with the red queens. So we'll take the top card in this case, which is going to be the Queen of Hearts. And we'll set it on top of my prediction, like so. So we're left with the 3 other queens, and we'll take the next top card, which should be the other red queen if I remember correctly. Yep, the Queen of Diamonds, and we'll set this under my prediction. So I have the 2 black queens, and the 2 black queens are going to go head to head with the red queens to try and find your card. So let's see who wins. Let's take the black queens and give them a little. And let's see if they won. Okay, so I now have the 2 red queens, which can only mean that the black queens must have won. In fact, let's take a wee look. Over here, as you can see, I have the 2 black queens, and in between them is my prediction. And was that your card that we put in the deck that the black queens have now found? That is absolute mind blowing. I don't know how they did that. Hope you guys enjoyed that trick. Let's move back onto our regularly scheduled Magic Monday. And next up, I'm going to perform and teach you guys a really, really cool and mind-blowing effect. So for the first trick tonight, I will be requiring the help of the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. Now we really could have chosen any 4 of a kind, aces are the coolest, the coolest, 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 coolest. So, of course, we have the ace of diamonds. We have what tends to be the majority of people's favorite ace, the ace of spades. Then we have my favorite ace, which is the ace of hearts. And then we have the ace of clubs. And I'm going to set these all just up there. Now what I am going to attempt to do is something that only magicians can successfully do. And that is, I am going to try and take out each ace one at a time, flip it over and put it back in the packet, and I will do it all invisibly. So I actually just did the first ace right there, and if you don't believe me, well, let's take a look, shall we? As you can see, we have the 1, 2, 3 aces with one of them flipped over. Let's try this again. Let me take out the next ace, flip it over, and slide it back in. And as you can see, we have 2 aces with the other 2 flipped over. Let's try this again. Next, we'll do this with the ace of clubs. I could actually have my spectators see the ace of clubs going into the packet, face up. They could even push it in themselves if they so wish, but either way, I can still take out the ace of clubs invisibly, flip it over, slide it back in, and as you can see, we have 1 card. My favorite ace, actually, the ace of hearts, that still needs to be flipped over. Let's try and do this with the ace of hearts next. As you can see, I take out the ace of hearts, flip it over, and slide it back in invisibly. And now all 4 aces have flipped over. Now, being a magician, you would expect me to be able to bring the aces back and flip them back over, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's start with the ace of hearts. I'll pull it back out, flip it facing up, and then slide it back in. And as you'll see, we have 1, 2, 3 aces face down, and then my favorite ace of hearts face up. But wait, I'm going to try something even more magical. Magical. Are you ready? And just like that, I have the 2, 3, and 4 of hearts. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And I know you're probably wondering, well, where are the other aces? Well, any magician will tell you that they're still in the deck. But no, I'm not an ordinary magician. I know exactly where in the deck the other aces are. In fact, I believe the first ace is about 26 cards down. And the next ace is about 13 cards down. So I've pulled out 2 aces, there's still 1 more to go. I don't know if you remember, we managed to successfully get the 2, 3, and 4 of hearts, and we had my favorite ace of hearts. Well, this is why it's my favorite ace. Watch very closely, you ready? Just like that, it manages to produce the ace of clubs through itself. And that is a very fun trick called expectation versus reality with the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. Okay guys, for the final trick in this video, I have got with me a deck of cards. And I'm just going to give it a bit of a mix. As you can see, it is a completely random deck. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get the deck and I'm going to separate it into 2 piles. But before I do that, let me just give it a quick shuffle. Right, as you can see, the deck is well and truly getting shuffled. Okay, and yeah, as you can see, it's completely and utterly random. So I'm going to split it into 2 piles, okay? And is you're going to turn over the cards one by one, and if it's a red card, you're going to set it right here, and if it's a black card, set it just below it. And if you pick up a red card and put it there, I'll pick up my card and put it diagonal, so down here next to the black pile. And if you pick a black card, I'll put my card diagonal from that. Okay? If that doesn't make sense, let's just show you, so on you go. Okay. And we'll do this through the entire deck. So you pick a red card, I put it diagonal. You pick a black card, I put it diagonal from that. Not looking at what these are, I'm just going straight for it, completely random. Quite a few red cards here in a row, so we're nearly there. Last card, okay, awesome. So to recap, I gave the deck a few cuts and a few shuffles, split them into two piles. You picked any half you wanted, and then you split it between the red cards and black cards, and I put mine diagonally from wherever you put yours. Now, wouldn't it be awesome if all the black cards you dealt out were all the black cards that I also dealt out, and all the red cards that you dealt out from the deck were all the same as the red cards that I dealt out from my portion of the deck? Watch very closely, as if you blink, you will miss the magic. So guys, for the last trick in today's video, I'm going to be showing and actually teaching you a very important skill when you want to become a magician. And to do this, I need just 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4 to help me with it. I'll just set the rest of the deck up to the side. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be teaching you about palming. Palming when becoming a magician is in which the magician will take a card, let's say the top one here, and they will take their hand and place it over the card and secretly take the card over. Now some magicians aren't great at it, and they might flash the card like that through their fingers, not very hidden from the top or bottom. Some magicians might be quite good at it and can hide it very well from the top, but from the bottom it's still, like, you can still see it. So that is why I have invented what I call the invisible palm, in which I come over, palm the top card invisibly, and yet I still can produce it like so. You can see 1, 2 cards, and I'm left with 1, 2 cards like so. Now I'm going to try this again, this time with these 2 cards. So I'm going to invisibly palm one of these 2 cards. You can actually see there's nothing there. And I will just reveal it, just like so. And I'm left with the 5 of spades, and I'm actually just going to move this over a wee bit, because what we're going to do with the 5 of spades is I am going to take it and actually make it vanish, you see. So I have the 3 other cards left over here. I'll pop them up there. 5 of spades, and I will do my palming routine just like this. It's vanished now invisibly. You can see it is gone, but still I can make it appear with the invisible palm. The 5 of spades. And that is how to palm playing cards. So, to start off this video, I'm going to be performing a really cool trick called 2-card monte. And I have a spectator with me to help me perform this trick, as I need a third hand to perform it. So, I'm going to start by, I'll need you to hold a card for me. So if you just hold your hand out, we're going to take the top card, which is the Ace of Diamonds. Now, if you'll just pinch your fingers like this for me, we are going to refer to this card as diamonds, not Ace of Diamonds, just diamonds. So if I say to you, what card is this? What would you say? Diamonds. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to place the diamonds in between your fingers, and if you'll just hold it over there for me, perfect, and then just hold it a little looser, just a little tighter, perfect. That is nice and good. So you've got diamonds in your hand. So if that is diamonds, then what is this? Hearts, perfect. Now what I'm going to do with hearts is I'm going to take it and perform a little bit of manipulation, in which I will put hearts into your hand, pull out diamonds, so I now have diamonds. Makes sense? But I'm going to do it super fast that you won't even see it happen. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what card do I now have? Would you guess? Hearts. Shall we take a look? I've got a joker. What have you got? A joker as well. And that is 2-card monte. Okay, so to start the video, I need you guys to pick a card for me. So let's say we go for this card right here. Now, for the purpose of this trick, I don't actually want to know what the card is. So I'm going to show you guys what it is, but I'm going to look away as I show you. So I'm going to let you guys see it now. Okay, hopefully you saw what it is. We're going to lose your card somewhere in the deck. So I'll just pop it there, and we'll dump the rest of the cards on top. Perfect. And you know what? I'll give it a few cuts for those of you who don't trust me with these cards. Now, next up, what I'm going to attempt to do is actually use these cards to work out what your card is that you chose. To be specific, we're going to use the top 4 cards, which are going to help me work out what your card is, and they're going to do that through a series of sort of questions. I'll show you what I mean to start with. So we're going to start with the top card, and I'm going to ask it, what color was your card? And the top card tells me that your card was indeed a red card. Then we're going to move on to the second card, which is going to help me work out what suit your card is. So we know it's a red card, so it's either a heart or a spade. So what suit was your card? So this one tells me that your card was a heart, which is pretty useful. The next card is going to tell me what value your card is. So really determining what your chosen selection is. So it tells me that it's a queen. So putting that all together, we've got a red, a heart, a queen. So hopefully... was kind of hoping that would be the Queen of Hearts, but it's the Ace of Spades, which isn't too helpful. But I was kind of hoping that one of these aces to help me work out what your card is, but none of them. Are you sure none of those aces are your card? Well, that's a bit awkward. Let's take a look over here. Is the ace of diamonds your card? What about the ace of hearts? The ace of spades? The ace of clubs? I know what's happened here. Those aces just formed into one and have turned into your queen of hearts. In fact, speaking of cool effects, for my first trick today, I actually only need 4 red cards and 4 black cards, any 4 red cards and any 4 black cards, and we do not need the rest of the deck. So, to begin, I am going to be showing you a bit of a science experiment using these red and black cards. I'll pop the red cards up here and keep the black cards in my left hand. Now, for this trick, the black cards are actually going to represent water, and the red cards are going to represent oil. So black is water, red is oil. And what we are going to do is mix these black and red cards. Oil or water, our black card, and oil, our red card. And for those who don't know, oil and water do not mix well. And we're going to be doing that with these black and red cards. If I take another black card and another red card, we'll do the same. We'll mix these black and red. We'll do this again. Take a black card, another red card, another black and another red. And we'll mix everything together in one big mixture. Now, the last card I set down was indeed some oil, and we're going to use this oil as a leader and our guide for our mixture. As you can see, all the oil has come together like so, and as you have probably guessed, so has all our water. So that was pretty cool. In fact, let's try this again. We'll do the exact same experiment again. This time I'll take the oil in my left hand. We'll leave the water down here. And in fact, we'll start with some water this time. We'll pop down some water for the base of our mixture. And then I'll set down some oil, like so. We'll take some more water and we'll set that down, like so. Then we'll take some more oil, set that down, and for the last oil and water, we're actually going to mix them, like so, and pop them on top of our mixture, like so. Now watch very closely. We mix everything together, give it a wee bit of a spin, and let's recap. What happens when we mix oil and water? Well, let's take a look. As I said before, they separate when we mix the black and the red, and that is the oil and water experiment. I am going to start off tonight's trick relax by telling you guys a bit of a story. And this story actually links on from the story where the Jacks rob a bank. Have you heard of that story? For those who haven't, it's basically a story where the four Jacks go to rob a bank during a card trick, and they successfully get away with the robbery and disappear into thin air. But this version of the story is slightly different. This is slightly darker, this version I'm going to tell you. And in this version of the story, not all Jacks get away with the robbery. That's right, indeed, only one Jack got away with the robbery. The other three Jacks, 1, 2, 3, were all caught and sent to jail. And the jail life for the Jacks was quite difficult. It was very difficult for the first few nights. You could say that jail life wasn't suited for them, if you pardon the pun. But yeah, the jail life was very difficult for them. It wasn't actually till a few weeks in when they made their first friends in jail. And these friends, they made 4 friends. And they were very good friends and very important friends. And those friends were the 1, 2, 3, and you guessed it, the 4 aces. Now, I say that these friends were important, and that is because these friends that they made, the 4 aces, it wasn't actually their first time in jail. They were in the news recently for actually managing to have escaped the jail they were previously in. That's right, the Ace of Hearts, the Ace of Clubs, the Ace of Diamonds, and the Ace of Spades all managed to escape from their previous jail. They're now in a very high security jail. And the reason the Jacks made friends with these aces is they wanted to escape from jail. I know, so it was a very risky friendship going on here. So one day the Jacks and the aces got together and they started their plan, started plotting how they're going to escape from the jail they are in. And it was a difficult plan because the Jacks and the aces stayed in different cell blocks. And the cell blocks were quite far away. Let me try explain the cell blocks a wee bit. Let's use the 4 kings to represent the cells for the 3 Jacks. So we've got the 4 kings, and they are going to be used in this trick to represent the cell blocks for the 3 Jacks. And as you guessed, these stayed in different cell blocks, different cells, individual cells, the Jacks. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 kings, and the 3 Jacks stayed in different cells. And we are going to mark these cells by putting the Jacks in between, like so. And that is how we're going to show that they stayed in different cells. And one night, obviously the night where they planned to escape, the aces and the Jacks had a routine set in which the 2 different cell blocks will mark them like that. One cell block over here, the other cell block over here. This is the cell block with the 3 Jacks, and this one over here will be the cell block with the 4 aces. Pardon me, I'm forgetting the names of the cards. And these are the cell blocks that were quite far away, but they needed to get together to escape from the jail. And it was a difficult plan, but they put it into action. And shall we see if their plan went down correctly? let's have a look, shall we? Over here, the jacks cell block. As you can see, the 3 jacks managed to escape from their cells. In fact, there are no jacks in this cell block whatsoever. And over here in the aces cell block, you can see the 3 jacks managed to meet up with the 4 aces and escape from jail. Okay, so for this next trick, I am going to take the top 1, 2, 3, 4 cards and set them down just there. And for the next pile of cards I'm going to make, I'm going to take the 1, 2, 3, 4 second top cards. Now, in fact, the 4 cards for each pile I have taken out are, for the first pile, the 1, 2, 3 and 4 aces, and the second pile of cards that I took are going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4 kings. Now what I am going to do with both piles of cards is I'm going to make a bit of a mix-up between them, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start with the kings, and I'm going to take the top 2 kings and just set them over there, and then the next 2 kings I'm going to set just right there. Now I'm going to take my 4 aces and I'm going to set the first ace just there, and the second ace I'll pop just on top, and the final 2 aces I'm going to sandwich in between the other 2 kings. So we've got 2 kings and 2 aces and 2 kings with 2 aces in between them, and I'm just gonna try and perform a little bit of expert magic where I try and bring the kings and aces back together to 2 packets again. So let's see how we can do it. You ready? Hopefully that worked. Let's take a wee look. In this pile now we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 kings. Perfect. And in this pile we have, oh, we've got 5 cards. Well, what's better than the 4 aces would be a royal flush. Now, one thing you always see magicians do when performing their card tricks is they will always do a trick in which they attempt to cut to a particular card. Well, I am going to try and up the level tonight with cutting the deck to a particular card. In fact, I am going to try and do it with 4 particular cards with a bit of a twist. You see, I'm going to be doing it with half the deck face up and half the deck face down, like so, just to make things a little harder for me. Now I know you're probably wondering, well, what are the 4 cards that you're going to be cutting to? Well, let's generate a random 4 of a kind, shall we? Let's just cut. We'll not go with the aces, that might be a bit too difficult. Let's go with, you know what? Let's go with the 4 5s. So let's see if I can cut to all 4 5s. It could be difficult, but if we get it, that would be pretty incredible. So let's start off. Let's see if we can do this here. Let's go 1, 2, 3. There we go. 5, number 2. Things are starting off pretty well so far. Let's see if we can move on to the 3rd 5. Let's cut about, let's go like here, and then we'll go 1, 2, and 3. There we go. 5. Number 3. Things are looking pretty well so far. However, we are moving on to the fourth 5 now, so it's going to get a little harder to do. So I think this one could be potentially the hardest one of the trick, but let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Let's go about 1, 2, let's go here. Uh-oh, that's not 5, that's the king of diamonds. That's not very good. Right, you know what, let's take that and we'll set it down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this king and give it a little bit of a rub, like so. And watch it turn into... Oops. Well, I was hoping it would turn into the fourth 5. Oh, you know what happened? What happened is, instead of me rubbing the king, it actually did something to these 3 cards here. You'll see that these 3 5s have now turned into the 3, 1, 2, 3 other kings. But wait. What about the 5s, you say? Well, take a look at this. Right there in the middle of the now all facing down deck, we have the 4 5s, and once again the rest of the deck has indeed returned to all facing the same way. For this next trick, I don't actually need the entire deck. I only need 8 cards, and these 8 cards can be picked at random by a spectator. But seeing as I don't have a spectator here with me, I'll just take the top 8 cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we do not need the rest of the deck, so I'll get rid of that. Now, these 8 cards, as I said, can be random. They can be randomly mixed. It will not make a difference as to what card the spectator makes. It's always going to be random. So let's just pick a random card. Let's go for, say, this one. Here, in our case, we are going for the 4 of diamonds. Now, when I perform this trick, usually I don't know what the card is. So let's just pretend that I don't know what it is. And what I would do is I would shuffle the spectator's card into the packet of cards. I mean, that's pretty much random, right? And what we'll do now is I'm going to try something to help me work out where your card is, as I have absolutely no idea where it is. Now I'm going to make this slightly easier for me, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make 2 piles of 4 cards. Obviously one of these piles will have your card in, so I'm going to show you 4 cards from the top of the packet, and I want you just to let me know if you see your card in those 4 cards, okay? So we have the 9 of spades, the 4 of diamonds, the 10 of clubs, and the 3 of diamonds. So did you see your card? In this case we did. So what I would usually do is pop those those 4 cards in between the spectator's hands, but since I don't have a spectator, I'll just pop the card box on top of their cards. So now we are left with these 4 cards. I'm guessing none of them are your card, right? Awesome. So what I'll do is I'll set them down just opposite those cards that we put in between your hands. And what I'm going to try and do is another bit of magical teleportation. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to try and take your card from in between your hands and pop it in between the other packet of cards. Are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, I wonder if it worked. Shall we take a look and see how we did? We now only have 3 cards over here, which means hopefully, yes, we have 5 cards over here. And that means that 1 card has teleported. And it was your 4 of diamonds. And I'm just going to show you all the cards are different. There's nothing sneaky going on. And what I would have the spectator do is have them cut the deck anywhere they like. So let's say they go about there, and I'm gonna set this half just up there for them, so they could hold on to it if they like, but we'll just pop it up there. And what we'll do is we'll go for the top 3 cards. That's very nice as well. It works out pretty well because we've got a 2 with a jack in between the 2 2s, which is pretty nice. And essentially what I'm going to do with these cards is, with like a good way to remember it is the jack in between both the 2s. So let's see, what could I try? Let's go through and take out the jack. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the jack in the middle. Again, this side. There we go. And I'm going to pop it in this way, because what I would have the spectator do is simply pinch onto the jack. But I don't have anyone here with me, so just imagine that the spectator is pinching onto that jack, so I can't get to it. And all I would do is simply take these cards and just make the jack vanish. That is right. It is completely gone from in between both the 2s. And in fact, you'll see if I spread out the deck, the jack, where is it, has jumped into the middle of the deck. Pretty crazy, but we're not done yet. It would be a bit of a letdown if I just ended the trick there, would it not? So let's try something different. Let's take the jack and let's pop it in sideways again like we did before. And this time let's try and change the jack. The jack is going to change right in front of your eyes. Watch, you ready? Watch. Oh no, wait, you expected the jack to actually change? Well, it did. If you look closely, it actually changed color. All these cards are red. Even the 2s are both red, except from our jack of spades, which is blue. So for this next trick, I'm going to be attempting something with my blue deck of bicycle playing cards that is so complex, some may say it is near impossible for a magician to even try, let alone a normal human being. But before I get into what that is we are going to start the trick how I would start any other trick, and we'll just have a random card selected from the deck to help me perform this trick. Let's say we go for, doesn't really matter, let's say we go for the 2 of diamonds. Now, as I was saying, these cards are going to help me perform what I'm going to do today, and we'll need a couple more helpers, so let's just pick 2 more random cards by popping the ace of spades somewhere random in the middle. We'll go take a look at where we put it. We put it right there in between the king of diamonds and the 2 of hearts. As I say, it doesn't matter what these cards are, either way they'll still help me to perform what I'm going to try and do today. So what it is that we're going to try and do is using all 4 of these cards. So that's the 2 of hearts, the king of diamonds, the ace of spades, and of course the 2 of diamonds, and they are going to try and help me perform something so amazing. Do you want to know what they're going to help me do? What I'm going to do is by taking this ace of spades and popping it somewhere random in the deck and just giving it a wee cut. I am going to try and, using these 3 red cards, I'm going to turn the whole deck into a red deck. Are you ready? And as you'll see, oh, we still have some black cards. Well, what else can we make red? How about the backs of the cards? How about that? We have turned this blue deck into an entire red deck of bicycle playing cards. Not only that, these 3 cards have also turned into red cards, but we have to turn every card into a red card, don't we? For the last trick in today's video, I am going to be needing to use 4 very important, very great cards, and that is the 1, 2, 3, and 4 kings. And what we're going to do is, I would usually have the spectator do this, but we're going to need to make 4 piles. And what we're going to do is lose each of these kings, like we did in a previous trick, but in each pile. And the way we're going to do this is I'll just take 3 cards from the top of this pile. I'll pop the king on the bottom, and we'll pop it on top of the back, and then I'll give it a good cut to lose it in the packet. We'll then move on to the next king. I'll take 3 cards from the top, pop the king on the bottom, and we'll lose that king in that packet too. Let's move on to the 3rd king. We've got the king of diamonds. I'll take 3 cards similarly, and we'll lose it in packet number 3. And we'll move on to the 4th and final king. I'll take 3 cards, set it on the bottom, and in fact, you know what? These kings are so powerful that if I take the king of diamonds, the king of clubs, sorry, give it a rub or a wave over these packets, you can see that the 4 kings have all come back together. That's how great they are, but it gets even more great. Every king must have its queen. Like so. Watch very closely. next.